Hey guys, it's Deborah and welcome back to my channel. So today we're going to do a cook with me. We're going to be doing some chili. I love chili. So let me just go over the ingredients that we're going to need. This is very simple. I've adapted it over the years. You're going to need to cut up. I use usually one medium onion. Today I'm using 2 small onions. I like my chili spicy, so I'm going to be cutting up 2 jalapenos. I have cornstarch out. I typically use that in case I want to thicken it up. I like the consistency to be a little bit thicker, but if it's not as thick as I like it, then I add in a little bit of the cornstarch. You'll need some beef broth. I always use this Knorr tomato bouillon in pretty much all my dishes. A little bit of cayenne pepper because I do love it spicy. Some ancho chili powder. I'm going to be using some adobo, but the spicy. Black pepper. The Mexican chili powder. I have a can here of the crushed tomatoes with sea salt. You can use crushed tomatoes. You can use stewed tomatoes. I've used both. And then I have a can of the light red kidney beans and the dark kidney beans. I like to mix them. And then of course I also have a 1.5 pounds of stew meat. I like to make my chili with stew meat. So I use about 1.5 pounds. So we'll go ahead and get started and chop that right up. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is I am going to cut up my meat. You've seen me haul this in my Costco haul. I'll link that video down below, or you could tap this little eye right here. It'll link you directly to that video if you want to check it out. So I love using beef stew meat in the chili. I like it a little hearty. I think that's why I like it. So you're just going to cut up your meat into bite-sized pieces. And this chili is really simple. It takes about probably 15 minutes prep time. What takes the longest is cutting up the meat and your onion and jalapeno. Everything else is easy peasy, 1, 2, 3. Okay, friends, so I did end up chopping up all the meats. Now I'm just gonna cut up the vegetables here. And if you notice, I did switch out cutting boards just for the whole cross-contamination. The jalapenos I typically just cut in half and then I'll slice them about 1/8 of an inch. But again, all this is all personal preference. And this chili is so versatile. I mean, you can substitute it with obviously ground beef. If you want to stick to the healthier side, you can do ground turkey. So that's that. And the onion is the one that's I'm gonna want it a little bit smaller. I like the flavor that it gives it. You can also use red onion if you prefer red onion. I'm just using a yellow onion. So I did finish up cutting up the onion. I'm going to go ahead and move you over to the stove and we'll start sauteing everything. Okay guys, so there are 2 things that I forgot to mention, 2 other ingredients. One is the extra virgin olive oil. You need that to, you're going to saute your onions and your garlic. And that's the other ingredient I forgot to show you. But I use minced garlic, it's easier. I'm going to use about 2 tablespoons of the minced garlic because I love garlic. So all you want to do is turn on your pot that you're going to use. Another quick tip for you, you don't want to add your olive oil and heat up your olive oil with your pot because olive oil does burn. So you want to turn on your pot and get that really hot before you put your olive oil in. Okay, now that your pot is nice and hot, I'm just going to drizzle in about 2 tablespoons of the olive oil as well. I'm going to add in my onion first. You don't want to do the onion and the garlic at the same time because you don't want to burn the garlic. If you want to add more onion, you can add more onion. I think I might. No, that should be good. Like I said, I'm using about 1.5 pounds of meat, so this should be good. 1 medium to large. I used 2 small. So now I'm going to add in my garlic and a few of the spices. Stir that up. I use about 2 tablespoons. Don't let that garlic burn. So while that's sauteing, you want to add in some cayenne pepper. I'm adding in a little bit of the ancho powder. You don't have to use this if you don't want. And then some of the Mexican chili powder. Don't worry, you're going to add in more later. This is just your base to get everything going. So now that all that is nicely incorporated, you're going to add in your meat and you want to brown that up. So you're just going to continue to stir this around, incorporate the onions and the garlic and everything with meat, so it gives it a very nice base, a very nice flavor. And brown that up before you start adding everything else. Okay, now that my meat has browned up, I'm going to go ahead and add in my can of crushed tomatoes. And I am using a 28 ounce can of tomatoes. I want to incorporate that. Then I'm going to add in my beef broth. I like my chili on the thicker side, so I used about 1/2 cup. Remember, the meat is going to release juices as well, so you have to take that into consideration. I'm going to leave this consistency the way it is for right now with the 1/2 cup. And I can always add. It's easier to add than to take away. So now that the beef broth is in, I'm going to start adding my spices, and I'm going to go ahead and add in the Mexican chili powder. I'm going to do 2 tablespoons because it is chili, and I like the Mexican chili powder because it has a really nice smoky flavor. It's a little bit stronger than regular chili powder. I'm adding in about 1/2 teaspoon of the ancho powder, tablespoon of cayenne. Remember, I like it spicy. Maybe almost a tablespoon. I'm using my adobo, the hot and spicy kind. And that just has all kinds of fun flavors in there. About a tablespoon. My pepper. I'm actually going to use ground pepper for the sake of time because I love a lot of ground black pepper. If you watch my videos, you know I love pepper. A little bit of salt. I did forget to show you that in the beginning. I'm using kosher salt, just a little. Kosher salt is very potent. And then the very last thing I have to add in is the tomato bouillon. Like I said, I use this in almost all my dishes, my soups, my rice, chili. I love it. So then all I'm going to do now is I'm going to go ahead and let that cook for about an hour. This dish usually takes, I mean, the longer you let it cook, the better. You know, low and slow is best. So typically I like to cook it for about 2.5 hours on low. So for the first hour, I just let it go like this. Then I'll check on it and see if I have to add any other spices, if I have to add in more chicken or beef broth. And then that's when I'll go ahead and add in my kidney beans because I don't want them to overcook and be too soft. And I'll also add in my jalapenos. So I'm gonna go ahead and put the lid on this baby. Wrong one, guys. I'm gonna put the lid on this baby, cover it up for about an hour, and then we'll check back in. Hey guys, so this has been cooking for about an hour now. I just opened up the can of beans. I'm gonna add these in. And if you could see, the consistency is way different now. That's what I mean. I only like to add in a little bit because I like my chili thicker. And I actually like it a little thicker than this. So we'll have to see towards the end if I have to add in that cornstarch or not. I typically don't. Usually thickens up a little bit. So now the beans are in, and I'm gonna also add in the jalapenos. I'm gonna incorporate all that together, and then I'm gonna go ahead and add in some more of my spices. Gonna add in some more of the cayenne. Some more of the black pepper. I did about a teaspoon of the cayenne, another tablespoon of black pepper, some more of the Mexican chili powder, about a teaspoon. And I'm sorry, I said it was a teaspoon of cayenne. And then a little bit of the ancho chili powder. So then you want to mix and incorporate all this together. Keep it on simmer and let that cook for another hour. So we'll check back with you in an hour. Okay guys, so this is the perfect consistency. This is the way that I like it. So I'm going to go ahead and serve it up and just show you how I top it off. Okay, so I typically top it off with some fresh onions, some fresh jalapeno. I'm going to put some cheddar cheese on top. You could do a blend, whatever you want, a little bit of sour cream. And then I do like to eat them with like corn chips or Tostitos. And friends, we did end up having chili dogs the next day. So that's what this is. It's a chili hot dog. So I hope you guys all enjoyed. Thank you so much for watching. I do appreciate it. Hit that red subscribe button if you're not already subscribed. Please give me a big thumbs up if you enjoyed these type of videos. And I will catch you at the next one.